The biggest problem I see when it comes to women in wealth is that they put themselves in a box. They play too small. They're too worried about what people will think when typically they are the most talented, the most educated, the most experienced, and prepared people in the room. But they still shrink. They are too polite. And to be honestly, they don't take chances and don't take risks, which means that they are not living up to their fullest potential. Well, who am I and what do I do? That is a tall question. I am a woman who has spent decades playing by the rules, which is why I can have this conversation. I remember one Sunday in church, and this was years and years and years ago, when I realized that it was okay not to play by the rules and it was going to be okay to challenge the status quo. So I'm leaving service, and a woman that I did not know slipped a piece of paper into my hands, and it said, "You're invited to a women's ministry meeting directly after service." Now, mind you, I'm there with my family. It's Sunday. I want to go home. I want to eat. I'm hungry, and I really, really, really don't like when my schedule is upended. So, something told me to go anyway, and I did. And it just so happened that all of the women of the ministry were having a meeting about some new initiatives, some new programs that were being introduced. And I remember thinking, man, this is just, why did I say yes? Why am I here? And suddenly I heard something that made me sit up in my seat. They were talking about this opportunity to talk to women in a real way, in a substantial way. They were going to open up these rooms for women to come in and talk about what was really going on in their homes in a safe space. And I thought, man, Christian Baptist church, you don't see this kind of thing every day. And so I thought, this is something I can actually get behind, like making a real change in women's lives and allowing them to just like let some stuff go, and for women to be able to relate better to one another, because we're all going through something. And so I felt so strongly about this. I volunteered to help. But the next part just, it sent me over the edge. We got everything lined up. We decided when, we decided where, we decided who. And then I heard them say, yeah, so let's think about doing this in about 6 months. 6 months. We just identified a problem. We identified a need, and you want to wait 6 months? And I went off in church. And I did it respectfully, but the pushback I had was, if you realize that women are hurting, why in the entire world would you put it off for 6 months? And after some looks and some nods and some cheers, next thing I know, I was leading the initiative. They didn't kick me out. So I realized, oh, okay, this must be a place where I can belong. And months later, we have put on some amazing events, some amazing programs. Women are being changed. And that's when I learned that it was okay to push back and challenge the status quo. And I've been a disruptor ever since. Um, in my professional life, I'm the principal broker of a commercial real estate brokerage, and I'm a business advisor. So I lead women and people of color in building wealth. And that work got me to create a community where we talk about economic growth, we talk about ownership, financial literacy, and leaving generational wealth now on a regular basis. What led me to this work? Well, there was a defining moment, and it happened in 2023. It's again another Sunday, and I am sitting up in bed, and immediately these words, "build wealth your way," came to me. honestly, I didn't know what it was. I heard these words and I felt a real strong tugging, but they meant nothing to me. And I had so many other things going on with work and projects. So I put it off and put it off, but it kept coming to my head: build wealth your way. So I thought, all right, I need to give this some thought. And I started thinking about all of the rooms that I was in my professional life where I was meeting women with a ton of talent. But then I'd go into another room and meet a different group of women with a ton of talent. And I felt like, okay, they need to know each other because I know what it looks like when women support other women. Not to mention the fact that these were all really powerful leaders. They were also givers. And I started to see a connection between these rooms of women, and they were all around helping build wealth. So I held an event and I didn't know if anybody would come, but they did. And I had a panel of experts. I had a life coach because, trauma. I had a real estate investor and developer. I had a wealth advisor. I had a corporate attorney, and I had a woman who had devoted her life to helping women after divorce. What happened was nothing short of amazing, and God did what God does. And women left that room in better connection, with better networks. There were business deals that were done as a result of that event. A couple women left, went back to their employers and asked for raises. Other women left their companies to go make more money in other companies. And it was just amazing. So it is something that we have been endeavoring to do ever since. My brand has always been about equipping women, but in this season, it's changed a little bit. It has evolved. So I've gone from the work in women's ministry to there was a natural hair movement that I started some years ago, back when that was extremely popular. And it was something that was built into 1,000 members, and women's lives changed from going from being scared and intimidated about wearing their hair natural to popping out. And that all kind of centered around this purpose that I believe I'm here to do, which is to help women make an impact. Now with Build Wealth Your Way, it's about a lasting impact. So I guess at this big age, I've got to change the conversation to talk about things that are going to affect the generations behind us. And because I'm a first generation wealth builder, first person in my family to go to college, so on and so forth, there's a certain challenge that goes along with that, and there's no roadmap. So being around other women like me on this journey has been fulfilling for me. Some of the biggest mistakes I see women make when it comes to money and business and wealth is that we are not strategic enough in our journey of accumulation. And what I mean by that is we are very good and wired to work hard, but I don't think we understand leverage the way that we should. I don't know that I want to wait at the back of the line, not when I know people, and I'm not afraid of making that ask. We start businesses more than any other demographic, and yet only 2% of us will ever reach $1 million in revenue. 85% of us will never reach $100,000 in revenue. And I believe that goes all the way back to our lack of strategic movements. So it's important to me, and I've seen the transformation when we can tap into our power in a real way. How does building wealth matter? It matters for everyone. When women build and hold on to wealth, they are wired to multiply. We don't keep it to ourselves. We change, our families change, our communities change. So the entire world is a better place when women hold power. If a woman is watching this and she's feeling stuck, what would I say is the first step to take in terms of building wealth? I believe the first step is actually the easiest step, and that is to get into a room of women on a mission, because we all know that iron sharpens iron. And there is no better place to be than in a room full of women who are supportive and nurturing, and most importantly, challenging. If you're the smartest person in the room, then we all know how this goes. You're in the wrong rooms. How can people connect with me and be a part of this movement? It's really easy. I want to connect with women on a mission. And the easiest way to do that is just to like the video, subscribe. You can meet me on social media. I'm everywhere at Doris Renee. But I'd actually say the best place is to head to my website, dorisrenee.com. And at the bottom of every page in the footer is a sign up form. I send out a newsletter every other Sunday. I call it my love letter to women. It's laser focused news, and I send out what matters most. I also provide updates about our events. We host online events as well as in person events, but we've also got some real treats coming up here in the next couple months. So I really want to meet with you and connect with you.